Today, we're stepping back in time to when your morning coffee wasn't just a caffeine fix, it was medicine. When tea wasn't a casual afternoon drink, it was prescribed by physicians. And when chocolate wasn't a candy bar, it was a sacred healing elixir. Today, we're preparing coffee, tea, and chocolate exactly as Europeans first experienced them in the 15th, 16th, and 17th centuries, using the methods recorded in Philip Sylvester Defoe's revolutionary treatises. These weren't beverages, they were medicines so powerful they transformed entire societies. Let me show you what we've lost and how we can reclaim it. We're starting with chocolate because this is where the story truly begins, in the Americas, where cocoa was literally currency and medicine rolled into one. In Defoe's time, chocolate preparation was ritual. No shortcuts, no processed powders. Pure cocoa beans ground by hand until they released their oils and became paste. The historical method was to combine 2 ounces of pure cocoa paste, 1 cup of hot water, not boiling, and the traditional Mexican addition of 1 small dried chili, and a European compromise, if you must, of 1 teaspoon of raw sugar. Here's what modern chocolate drinkers have lost. The Aztecs and early Europeans experienced chocolate as medicine first. It treated stomach ailments, enhanced memory, and provided sustained energy for long journeys. But notice, no milk, no processed sugar, no artificial flavors. And whisking is crucial. This creates the sacred foam that was considered the soul of the beverage. Europeans were mystified by this foam, believing it contained the chocolate's medicinal properties. This is bitter, earthy, almost savory. Nothing like modern hot chocolate. Feel that immediate alertness? That warming in your chest? That's your nervous system responding to pure theobromine and caffeine, unmasked by dairy and sugar. And now for some interesting history. Archaeological analysis of residue from a ceramic vessel similar to a teapot suggests that the Maya and their ancestors may have been drinking chocolate as far back as 2,600 years ago, pushing back the earliest evidence of cacao use more than 1,000 years. It was an art to make a good Spanish chocolate because it had many spices, much too much for the refined palate of the French. One even recognizes a touch of red hot pepper and cinnamon, and the cocoa paste required multiple ingredients and a delicate proportioning to arrive at harmony. For 100 roasted, crushed, and degreased cocoa grains, one needed 12 crushed almonds, 12 hazelnuts, a half crushed sugar loaf, a spoonful of honey, anise grains, and 2 grains pepper of Mexico, or grains of chili, 6 pinks of Alexandria, a pod of Campeche, and 2 drachmas of cinnamon. Diderot's encyclopedia gives the following recipe: cocoa, powdered sugar, cinnamon, 1 egg, water or milk, 1 drop of distilled orange flower water, and 2 drops of ambergris. There's been a lot of discussion and lots of articles, quotes Diderot, published on the virtues and dangers of the use of chocolate, depending upon what was added to it. Some almonds could be added to the hazelnuts. There had been a big debate religiously to decide if chocolate was food or liquid, because liquids could be had on Catholic fast days. Rumor has it that Louis XV himself drank chocolate only on fast days. Chocolate seems to have been a staple in the 18th century preacher Jonathan Edwards' household, as it was in many American colonial homes. In the 18th century, one of the larger general merchandise firms in Philadelphia was Bainton, Wharton, and Morgan. When the French and Indian War ended and the Old Northwest Territory became British property, the company seized on the opportunity to open a new market. They sent a junior partner, George Morgan, to the small village of Kaskaskia on the east bank of the Mississippi River in what is now Illinois to set up an outlying store in 1763. Still, even for a store, The amounts were impressive on the order, considering the location. In the spring, the order was 6,000 weight loaf of sugar and 2,000 pounds of chocolate. Quite an order for so remote a village, also considering the long transportation to get there. A recipe I use for making chocolate tablets from past is courtesy of Eileen Goose, and it is 200 grams of pure, good, unsweetened chocolate, 30 grams to an ounce, 4 medium-sized cinnamon sticks about 2 inches long, 1 teaspoon anise seeds, 2 tablespoons almonds or hazelnuts ground, and 1 vanilla bean split and seeds scraped to be ground with spices. Melt all ingredients together in a bain-marie and pour out as dollops on ungreased paper to make tablets, about 1½ tablespoons apiece. To make a chocolate drink, grate 1 tablet into your chocolatier and add 6 ounces of water per person. Froth with your molinillo or moulinet. Add sugar to taste. You could experiment with cayenne pepper, orange flower water, or ambergris, and different types of sugars. The Aztecs would have used corn flour and eggs too. Modern versus historical. Modern additions that help. Raw honey enhances chocolate's antioxidant absorption. Modern additions that hinder. Dairy milk blocks the absorption of chocolate's beneficial compounds. What we've lost. The mindful preparation that prepared the body to receive medicine. And on to part 2, coffee, the Arabian medicine. As far as you know, in Defoe's day, coffee came exclusively from Yemen, traveled months by caravan, and was prepared with reverence to be reserved for medicine. First, you roast your beans, but look carefully. Defoe specifies half-burned or tanned color. This is much darker than modern light roasts, but not as dark as French roast. The goal was to awaken the medicinal compounds while preserving the bean's essential nature. Traditional proportions: 3 drachmas, about 1 tablespoon, of finely ground coffee per cup of water. This is significantly stronger than modern coffee. Watch this carefully. The coffee must be brought to exactly 12 boils, allowing the foam to rise without overflowing. This isn't just technique. It was believed that proper boiling activated the coffee's medicinal properties. Europeans initially consumed coffee purely as medicine, for digestive issues, headaches, and what they called vapors of the brain. Unlike today's grab-and-go culture, coffee was never consumed on an empty stomach. It was always accompanied by food and consumed hot, in small, deliberate sips. Historical additions that enhance the medicine. Small pieces of cinnamon bark aids digestion. 2 crushed cloves, antimicrobial properties. For respiratory issues, prepared as café au lait with milk, boiled directly with the coffee. Notice the intensity. This hits immediately. Your heart rate increases, your mind sharpens. This is coffee as medicine, not comfort drink. Modern versus historical. What helps? Adding cinnamon still enhances coffee's anti-inflammatory properties. What hinders? Sugar masks coffee's bitter compounds that stimulate bile production and aid digestion. What we've lost? The understanding that coffee works best when consumed mindfully, not gulped. And now for tea, the imperial medicine, the most misunderstood of our 3 medicines. In Defoe's time, tea was so precious that Europeans traded 2 pounds of tea for 1 pound of European sage. Imagine that exchange rate today. Traditional proportions were half a drachm, about 1 gram, per glass of water. But watch the method. The leaves never touch boiling water directly. Pour hot, but not boiling, water over the leaves and cover immediately. And the tea must be steeped for exactly 15 minutes, until the leaves sink to the bottom. This isn't the quick dunking we do today with a tea bag. This is medicine brewing. Defoe describes different teas by their color. The finest produced greenish water, while common imports produced yellow infusions. He didn't use our terms black and green tea, but was clearly observing the difference between oxidized and unoxidized leaves. Historical serving. Small portions consumed hot as possible, often with a small piece of sugar candy held in the mouth rather than dissolved in the tea. This is profoundly different from modern tea, more astringent, more complex. Your body responds immediately. Heightened awareness, digestive activation, medicinal additions. The Persian method was to add anise and fennel seeds for digestive aids. The Chinese made milk tea. They boiled the tea with the milk for respiratory ailments. For mental clarity, they consumed plain, very hot, and in small sips. Modern versus historical. What helps? Adding fresh ginger enhances tea's digestive properties. What hinders? Oversteeping destroys the delicate compounds. Adding milk blocks antioxidant absorption. What we've lost: the patience to let tea properly steep, and the recognition that different teas require different methods. Here's what we've lost in 400 years. These three beverages were introduced to Europe as medicines so powerful they changed history. Coffee houses became centers of intellectual revolution. Tea ceremonies became spiritual afternoon practice. Chocolate was traded as currency. How do we apply these to modern applications? Number 1, start your day mindfully. Prepare one of these beverages using historical methods at least once a week. Reduce additions. Try your coffee without sugar for 1 week. Notice how your palate adapts. Temperature does matter. All three medicines work best when consumed hot, not lukewarm. Timing matters. Never on an empty stomach. Always with intention. The ancestors understood something we've forgotten. How we prepare and consume these beverages affects their medicinal impact. When we gulp coffee while checking emails, add dairy that blocks absorption, or steep tea for 30 seconds instead of 15 minutes, we're receiving caffeine and flavor, but losing the medicine. Next time you reach for your coffee, tea, or chocolate, remember, you're not just having a drink. You're consuming medicine that was once so precious. It started wars, built empires, and transformed civilizations. The question is, are you receiving it as medicine or just as habit? Try one of these historical preparations this week. Your body will remember what your mind has forgotten. Thanks for joining me in making old ways new again. Subscribe for more forgotten wisdom. Abi bento.